Welcome to Class Time, your daily classroom for CSEC and CAPE students. You can watch this lesson in real time on Television Jamaica's YouTube channel or OneSpot Media. We are also live on gojamaica.com. If you have questions on today's subject, you can send them to Television Jamaica's Facebook page at Television Jamaica or Instagram at television_Jamaica or use the hashtag TVJClassTime. We want to see those questions. Today's lesson is CSEC Social Studies, and I am Nikita Barnett Hamilton. Today we'll be looking at parenting. Now, are you ready for class? Are you ready? I am ready. To start off, I want you to be reflecting a little. I know we are in a culture where, especially for the guys, having your children mean a lot, you understand? So, I want you to pause for me. And there is this popular Vibes Cartel song where we know, oh, you woke up in a, hey, you woke up in a, get a girl and then go get your children, hey, get a girl and then go get your children. Now, pause. Is it okay for us, as females, just to give ourselves to them so we can turn mothers? Or is it okay for the guys just to decide so them want we to turn them mother, them parent to them child, rather? Is that okay enough? I know a lot of our young men, a lot of us in society, we listen to music and it seeps into us without us even recognizing. And of course, we know that Vibes Cartel is a lyricist, and when you hear that song, get a girl and go get your children. Because you buck up and I give you a nice vibe and it show you the niceness. Is that all there is to parenting? Like, you just want to know, say, the sperm eat the egg and it fertilized and it done? Is there all to it? I want you to legit pause a little and think about it, especially my male students. Yes, Jason, I want you to pay attention because I know you feel like every girl in here are going to drop down for you because you good looking, it cannot work out. Is it okay enough for you to just decide that you want to have your youth? So, I'm going to go to Bamson, get a girl and get my children then. Is that sufficient? Is that responsible? Is that all there is to parenting? Or is that parenting at all, as a matter of fact? What's your answer? What is it? No? Okay, for me that is no. For me, that is irresponsible. Irresponsible. Mark your mistake here and there, you know? However, if you are deliberately going to decide that you want your youth them, so you're going to just find a girl anywhere and go to Bamson with everything that is happening, STDs and all, and decide that, me want to be one father, it no matter if me I go take care of the child or not, it is what it is. I don't agree with it. What do you feel about that, Alison? You agree? Okay, I know I have some sensible CSEC students in here with me. Are we going on? All right. So remember, social studies is one of those subjects that allows you to reflect, allows you to be real. And with that knowledge, you're able to apply yourself properly. So here we go now. We are looking at preparation for parenthood. Of course, we have to have the objectives. What are the objectives for today's lesson? And you know, we always like to do a recap because you would have been tarrying with me for about a few weeks now. And last week we went through how to answer short answer questions. Good? So after these objectives, you should be able to do greater in applying yourself as a student. So our first objective is to define parent. I want you to be able to describe factors which assist in the preparation for parenthood. I also want you to analyze characteristics of effective parenting and also display willingness to to prepare for parenthood. That one is very important. And this is the one where I want you to reflect and pause that you can't just get a girl and get your children. And for the females, you can't just give a man your body and decide that you want to be a mother. You want to prepare, because parenthood is a great responsibility, and we ought to take care of our children to the best of our abilities. True? Good. All right. Now, parents. It's simple, like simple. But you know, I'm not going to run ahead of myself. I like when you participate. I like when you hold up your hands. I like when you say. All right, so here goes. Nydia, you always sit at the back, and I know you have sense. So tell me, what is your definition for parent? Parent? Your mother or your father? Easily. Your mother or your father. That's it. Your mother, your father, that's your parent. And the truth is, your parent doesn't always have to be biological, and we would have been looking at that to be a part of the family. Maybe that you are adopted, and that is fine too, as long as your parents are taking care of you and they're making sure that you get the best there is. So your mother or your father, that's your parent, all right? Now, what is parenting? It's just the act of bringing up a child. Bringing up a child as a parent, or your children. So that is parenting. And we know who a parent is. That's out of the way. These are some basic things I want to make sure that you have your books, you have your pen. You know, I'm not coming in here every week to tell you the same things. So I'm happy that your books and your pens are out and you're ready to, boogie with me. Have you written the meaning for these terms? Good? All right. Now, we're going to be reading from a parent, a mother. She's going to bring some perspective as to why you should prepare for parenthood, why parenting is not an easy task, though it can be lovely, right? So here goes. I saw parts of me come up like that never existed before. Mainly things that were taught to me by my father. I would take other people's advice, and it would often didn't work for me. It contradicted my feelings and my heart. My husband helped me to realize how my negativity was actually fueling my daughters, like she was mirroring me. I would sometimes lose it and go off on her, always feeling terrible later, but still angry and wanting her to get it. Well, one day, I just lost it and got angry, yelling at her. I knew I was the one feeling bad inside. I didn't have a good day. So instead of going off and apologizing to her and feeling like poo, I gathered myself and breathed. I decided to be humble with myself and even started to cry. I had to forgive myself and know I was just doing the best I could. Do you know that my daughter, who was 4, came outside to see me and said with a hopeful smile, "Are you feeling better?" I smiled and picked her up and gave her a hug. She knew what I needed. I can always help her so much better, and our relationship is so much better when I have taken care of myself spiritually, mentally, and physically. It's a tough job being a parent. And I'm also grateful that children are really forgiving. And when they see us, they really want us to do better. So in essence, I'm summing that up. This is a parent, and she has a 4-year-old daughter. Loves her daughter with every fiber of her being, everything. But as a parent, sometimes you are still human. You put aside the mother side, you put aside the father side. If you are not prepared, as she said, mentally, emotionally, physically, and psychologically, you will go off on your children without even recognizing it. So I want you to put yourself in the shoe of this mother. Are you ready to sit down and be a father or a mother? Are you ready for the child to be getting up all hours of night and, mommy, are you ready? As a male, my male here, are you ready to make sure that you are going to be the best dad there is? At 16, at 17 years old, are you able to take on all that responsibility as a parent? Are you? Are you? I want you to think about this because we're going into the preparation of parenthood. And in our current country, we know that a number of teenagers get pregnant, and we're not bashing anybody for getting pregnant. But if you can avoid it, if you can prepare for it, we're encouraging you to do that. That is what we're asking you. And we're not talking only about the females, males as well. If you do the damage, then you ought to stand up to it. So how can you stand up as a firm father? Prepare. You want to ensure that you see yourself through. You want to ensure that your children are able to live through your eyes. Is that so? Are you following me? So this is a reflective lesson because I know that some of us body it a kick up. Yes, I understand. I'm not behave like I understand. You're at the age, but I want you to prepare for parenthood. I want your children to be the best that they can be. And like you listened to this mother a while ago, she went off on her daughter for no reason at all. She had stuff bottled up in her. She didn't even recognize. Fortunately, she said, her daughter is forgiving and she can really and truly see that her mother was trying her best. And when you understand how to deal with your emotions, when you understand how to deal with your children's emotion, they will look, and even if you go off and say, boy, they will gather themselves and say, oh, mommy no mean me no harm. So you have to strike the balance. Getting me? All right. Let us go. I went out on the streets and I asked some persons, some parents, a male and a female, to share with me what are their views. Why should persons prepare for parenthood? I want you to listen and we're going to have a discussion. As I say, this topic is one that is real life and I want you to get it. Not only to write and pass the CSEC. You know when a teaching is not just for exam. I want you to learn. I want you to internalize and I want you to act so that you can be better individual. Roger that? Let's go. All right. Oh, let's wait there for me a little bit. Bam.
Why should persons prepare for parenthood? Being a parent is a huge and important responsibility. It means that you are 100% responsible for the well-being of the child. You have to provide for them emotionally, ensuring that you give them the love and care that they need, ensuring that you're present at all stages of their growth and development. You also have to provide for them financially, ensuring that you're in a position to meet the needs of the child by providing food, clothing, shelter, education, and a good health. Overall, as a parent though, you must be prepared psychologically to carry the weight of the responsibility. The role of being a parent should be fulfilling, should be fun, should be exciting, pleasurable. However, if you are not prepared, then this role becomes a burden and the child ends up suffering for it.
All right. And this now we recognize is coming from a dad. And we want at all times to make sure that there is a balance, right? Now, I want you to know we're going to go for a break. And when we come back, there will be more social studies, all right?
It's here. Interactive classes for all ages on the School Time channel on onespotmedia.com. With a combination of live Zoom classes and recorded class time, schools not out lessons, and numerous educational content, we've created a comprehensive 24-hour channel dedicated exclusively to educating our nation's youth. Early childhood through to primary, secondary and tertiary, it's one stop on one spot for education 24 hours. Brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information in association with Television Jamaica Limited.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses like the flu and coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing with a tissue and dispose of it. Avoid close contact with anyone with a cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or the nearest health center and share your travel history. The flu and coronavirus can kill. Let's protect each other. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Hi there, I'm Simon Preston from TVJ. Thank you very much for watching our YouTube channel. To see our latest videos and also to see live events, click here. To see our full videos on onespotmedia.com, click here. Thank you very much.
It's here. Interactive classes for all ages on the School Time channel on onespotmedia.com. With a combination of live Zoom classes and recorded class time, schools not out lessons, and numerous educational content, we've created a comprehensive 24-hour channel dedicated exclusively to educating our nation's youth. Early childhood through to primary, secondary and tertiary, it's one stop on one spot for education 24 hours. Brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information in association with Television Jamaica Limited.
Welcome back. This is CSEC Social Studies. We're discussing parenting. Now, I want you to come back with me a little. Come back. We've looked at why males and females should wait to become parents. We've also looked at the definition of parent and parenting, right? And we said a parent is simply a mother or a father, be it biological or adopted. We looked at parenting as the act of bringing up a child, right? Or your children. So that is parenting, that's parent, and we are on our way. We also played a voice note a while ago, and we were listening from a father's perspective why it is important to prepare for parenthood. I'm going to play it again because, you know, repetition is always good. And this is the voice of Dwight Dunkley, a father. I want you to pay attention to the things he said and why we should prepare for parenthood. You're going to point out at least 2 things that he said we should do to prepare. Let's go again. All right. Okay. I feel like this thing sometimes want to act up with me, but it's fine. We're going. We're not giving up. All right. Let's go.
Why should persons prepare for parenthood? Being a parent is a huge and important responsibility. It means that you are 100% responsible for the well-being of the child. You have to provide for them emotionally, ensuring that you give them the love and care that they need. ensuring that you're present at all stages of their growth and development. You also have to provide for them financially, ensuring that you're in a position to meet the needs of the child by providing food, clothing, shelter, education, and a good health. Overall, as a parent though, you must be prepared psychologically to carry the weight of the responsibility. The role of being a parent should be fulfilling, should be fun, should be exciting, pleasurable. However, if you are not prepared, then this role becomes a burden and the child ends up suffering for it.
So you heard that. I'm going to go now, like we were going to do, and pull from you. What were some of the things that Mr. Dunkley spoke of? Come speak to me, yes, Shanique? Right. You must be at the child stage, at every stage possible. Every level that the child is, you want to be there. True? Right. Tell me now, Jason, I'm picking on you this morning. What else? Emotionally. Then, Jason, you that don't like to show emotions, you think you're going to hug your son and tell your son that you love him? Oh, you're not going to kiss him on the mouth. So what is wrong? Is your son. Is your son. And we understand that you're not going to violate. Oh, all right, I respect you, but you're going to hug him and let him know that you love him? Very good. So Mr. Dunkley pointed out the fact that you must be there emotionally. Right? What else? Shanice? Financially. Very good. And you know, I'm happy that these voice notes or these persons are already bringing out the lesson in essence. So you're learning in a different way. What else? What else did you hear? Psychologically. Psychologically. And when we read the excerpt earlier, you saw where the mother was saying, I am getting so angry. I am losing it for no reason, because parenting is a lot mentally. So you want to try your best to be prepared psychologically. You're paying attention. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right. I'm now going to play a voice note from a mother, because you know we like to balance the scale as best as possible. All right. So let's go. Work with me, baby self. All right? We ain't giving up. We ain't giving up. Bam.
All right. Why we need to prepare for parenthood. We tend to parent the way we were parented or aspire not to. When you plan, when you put a system in place, you're able to better manage or break generational traditions or norms. You're able to decide the quality of the life that you want your children to experience. So basically, if you grew up in a place of lack, you're able to put a proper financial structure in place to ensure that history does not repeat itself. You're able to nurture your child properly or your children properly to ensure that the correct values and attitude systems are in place so they don't become burdens to society in the future. Because everything that they do at each touch point is important, and their quality of life depends on what you do. So proper planning is important.
Wow, wow. And that's the voice of Fedora Bailey, right? Now, Miss Bailey pointed out something very important. And when I listened to her, I was like, wow. She said, we tend to want to parent the way our parents did or didn't. We have to ensure that in planning for parenthood, we know that every child is different. It's two of us, my mother and father have, two of us, right? I am way different from my brother. My mother, my father, they had to put different system in place to deal with us. That's true. Because when I was small, I just love company and like do my own thing and go on. My brother just run up and down and do his own thing as well. However, he was more rebellious. I don't know why, but he was a little more rebellious. He would draw mommy man, pull. Is it that my mother had to learn that as a girl, because I'm the first one, she had to now learn how to deal with my brother, because we are different persons, totally different. So in preparation for parenthood, you don't want to just look and say, all right, you know my son have to go grow up and be a gallus, because you recognize that here, so daddy plant him seeds all over. You want to prepare to ensure that your child, and she said it, have the right values, the right morals in growing up. So they cannot be a strain to society. They can be good humans and citizens of this world and this country. So I loved what Miss Bailey said right there, right? So let us go a little more into the lesson now. Right. Now, there are some factors that we must consider in preparing for parenthood. If you want to be responsible at all, and come with me now, class. And as I said, this lesson, I don't want you to miss it, because oftentimes we just teach for you to write, but I know that you are at the age where you can impregnate a young lady, and you are at the age where you can get pregnant. I want you to know that these are some factors that you must bear in mind so you can be responsible parents. You want to make sure that you give your children the best. So the first one is to be knowledgeable on family planning techniques. Very knowledgeable on family planning techniques. And I'm going to read. Through family planning, one will better be able to cater to the needs of the family members. Family planning dictates to the number of children, the spacing between them, and how they will be provided for. So, you plan your family, you know that, all right, I had my first child at 26. I want to wait a little so I can go 30 thereabout. Give them a little 4-year gap so they can grow properly and also give you time to recuperate. Recuperate financially, recuperate emotionally, right? And in the next class, I am hoping that when we meet face to face, we can have persons to come and share with you, mothers and fathers, about some of the things that they have gone through and why you should wait until you are ready. And also why you should space them properly to get to understand each child's ability, to get to understand that, okay, all right, I just spent all of this money in giving birth and taking care of my child. So it's important that I have good family planning techniques. You don't know how? Seek help. Seek help. Seek help. So you want to ensure that for some persons it's contraceptive. So you use your condom, you take your pills, and make sure that your body rests so that you can have proper spacing for your children. True? All right. Next one. You want to ensure that you build emotionally and psychological strength. I'm smiling because Dwight Dunkley spoke about this with much passion. Much passion. And I'm happy that it was a father, because I have some young men in this class. So I want you to pay attention. It is important that you know that the presence of a new baby affects the psychology of the family. It affects the psychology of the family. You also have to know that a child goes through different phases of life and requires much understanding on the part of the parents. You have to understand that when you bring a child into this world, as I was saying earlier, you see the crying at nights. You see that thing where you're used to your own space and you go where you want to, do what you want to, when you want to. All of that will be lost. I know enough of you you love the party and you have to dip on your phone 24/7 and you get to do your own thing. When you bring a child into this world, Justin, when you bring a child into this world, you have to ensure that emotionally and psychologically you are ready to know that, all right? I can't go party as often because I have to put this aside. Are you able to deal with that? You have to know that when the child cries, sometimes they'll get sick. Are you ready to deal with that? Prepare yourself emotionally and psychologically. You won't get it all right, I'm sure. Nothing in life you get right altogether. It comes with practice. But when you prepare, it makes the task easier. Is that true? Yes. All right. Next one. You want to make sure that you have adequate financial resources. How many of you have saving pan? Like you have a bank account and you put down some money, and I'm not talking that you save your money to buy clocks or you save your money to buy shorts or hair. No, your money, you know that it's to help with your education. How many of you have that? Well, newsflash, if you don't have that, you have to get yourself ready from now. Because you are going to be parents, and I know that you'll be responsible parents. It's just that you have to apply these tips to make it easier for you. Again, Dwight Dunkley spoke about this. He said you must have adequate financial resources. Couples are encouraged to acquire skills or education that will secure them a stable job. So know that when you leave my class here, no, Thorncroft, not one of you're going to be stable. You're going to get good jobs. Who don't go to university and know you're going to have your skills together, you are going to be the best there is, because you're going to be good parents and you're going to be a good nourisher to your son and your daughter. I know that, and I'm speaking it and I'm believing it with you. So you're going to finish your CSEC examination, do very well. You're going to matriculate to another level, and that will help you to prepare to get good jobs so you can provide for your families, right? This will guarantee that you will prepare for the needs of your children. How many of you talk truth? I want you to be honest with me. You are here now, and we see that mommy really have it hard. We see that daddy really have it hard. Because in truth and in fact, a lot of our parents didn't prepare. They didn't prepare adequately. But we can change that, don't? Right. Raise your hand if you're going to change that. Raise your hand. Very good. See, I know you're going to do that. Well done, my student. You see? All right. Next, physical development. At 16, at 15, at 17, you want to make sure that your body is ready, right? Because especially to the females, you know, our bodies will go through more rigor than the males when it comes on to giving birth. And it puts your life at risk as well as the baby's life at risk. So you want to eat healthy, you want to exercise, and you want to ensure that you're grown enough. Your body is properly developed for a fetus, for another life to live inside of you. It's suck on you, not it. The child is a person. They will suck on you. So you want to make sure that your body is adequately developed to house another human being. Are you with me? I see someone whose face look like, whoa, yes. So I want you to think about it. So I want you to process it. And no, guys, no, girls, is not everything you have to give into. No, you can't just open your legs for everything. And boys, you can't just go around and fertilize for everything. No, we will be preparing. Very good. Very good. Let's go. All right. Now, we're looking at parenthood. We're looking at parenting. We looked at some of the tips to prepare for parenthood. I want you to remind me before we go into looking at what an effective parent looks like. If you get a CSEC question that asks you to describe some of the ways a mother prepares for parenthood, what would you say? Yes? Shaquisha? They make sure that they have adequate finances. Very good. Next one. Yes, Shanice. Yes, emotionally and psychologically stable. I love that. What other thing? Emotional, I get that one already. Don't tell me that same thing. Physically, you must be ready for this, right? And I like that you're learning. And remember now, if you're asked to describe, you don't just list. You have to write about it and give your examples, because when you give your examples, it will allow the marker to understand what you're saying, and it may just help you to get a better mark. True? All right. Now, here is another voice note, and this is from a teenager. I wanted her to share, and this is Paris Taylor, I wanted her to share on if she considers her parent to be an effective parent and why. So here goes. Let us pay attention. Behave yourself. Come. Woo. We ain't giving up, right? Come.
I think that my mother is definitely an effective parent. She's kind of like a best friend to me. So we always talk, and she always gives me advice about certain things. And I just really love it because, having a best friend as a mother is something that's, really nice. She helps me to stay on track. She helps me to eat healthy, and, she even helps me to get closer to God. And she helps me to just, grow in school as well and grow as a person.
Right. And that was the voice of Paris Taylor, as I said. A teenager, and one that I have an opportunity to speak to much, because this topic is a sensitive one, but you also want to make sure that when they can evaluate their parents and say, okay, my mother is doing a good job. My father is doing a good job. They're not perfect at it, but I see that they are effective. Some of us may look on and say, no, sir, my parents are effective at all. Call them do a God dance and all of that. Okay, fair enough. But what are you going to do to change that, right? Paris spoke about the fact that her mother is effective because she can speak to her pretty much about anything. There is a best friend relationship. Her mother encourages her to love God, she said, and her mother shows her love. To be an effective parent, there are certain things that you have to take into consideration. There are certain things that you must do so that your child or children can say, yes, daddy is effective. Yes, mommy is effective. Good? So let us look now. Characteristics of effective parenting. And to be an effective parent, you must know that all the functions of the family must come in place, the four of them. And I'm happy that we get a chance to always see this, even as we teach this topic. The functions of the family will help you to determine if you're effective or not. Are you providing for your child or your children emotionally and psychologically? You hear those two words a lot, and I believe in repetition. You know this. So if you forget that, right. Now, socialization is another function of the family. Economic maintenance, and we know procreation. You're here already. So it's a holistic approach when you are a parent. If you want to be effective, you want to ensure that you take all the functions of the family in mind and you execute accordingly. When you become a parent, you always have to keep these things in mind. When you become a parent, you don't forget what you learn in social studies class, because these are life lessons, right? Let's go. You must be knowledgeable about first aid technique to be an effective parent, because emergencies will come up. Anything can happen. You may not be able to get to the hospital in time. What are you going to do? No, you must be able to deal with emergencies. Some basic things. Deal with your cut, deal with giving mouth to mouth, just helping to bring back life as best as possible. This is something that you want to learn from now. And I know that Mr. Brown training some of you on first aid treatment. Take it, because it's going to help you when you become a parent. Another thing is that you must be able to communicate. And Paris would have said that. She loves her mother. She thinks her mother is effective because she's able to communicate with her mother. Young children may be unable to communicate or have limited communication skills. Parents must therefore anticipate their needs and pay attention to the body language to figure out their moods or problems. Parents are also called upon to keep lines of communication in their families open. Some parents find it difficult to communicate with their teenager children because of generation gap. generation gap. So if your children are small, as it says, and you know we have children too with special abilities, they may be a little autistic or they may have learning disabilities. You and some children are born not able to speak or see. So we bear these things in mind. As a parent, you have to be able to deal with these things. You must be able to understand what they're saying without them even saying at that age. True? Teenagers are a little bit harder to deal with because of the generation gap. And we say generation gap is pretty much the differences in view between parents and children. Like you're old-fashioned and them no one hear what you say because you're old, right? But there is still an ability for you to bridge that gap so your children feel comfortable to communicate with you. True? Good. Now, you must have socialization skills. It is important that the parents teach, and you are going to become parents? Yes, you have to teach them the necessary values and skills needed to grow as responsible humans in society. Right? So to be effective, you sit, sometimes you may be combing your daughter hair or you're putting on your son's khaki. You must be able to socialize your children properly so they can demonstrate good behavior in society. Are you following me? All right, good. Now, disciplinarian skills. Some of us allow our children to do as them please. It cannot work. You have to love them, you have to communicate with them, you have to provide for them, but they cannot do their own thing. There's a point when you have to learn to put down your foot. You cannot broke them body, you cannot bend the tree when them howl. You have to bend them from them young, so when they grow up, they will be responsible citizens. They will learn to respect you too, because sometimes you want to wait until they turn teenager, you try to instill this in them. No. Start from early. They'll tell you start from in the womb to help to nurture and discipline your children. All right? Now, the last one we're going to look at is having a good knowledge of nutrition. Make sure that you understand how your children should eat, provide the right vegetable, provide the right balanced meal for them so that they can grow and be all that they should be. If you don't do that, it is going to end up affecting them. All right? So have you learned today? Were you learning anything? Yes, I know that. And if you have any question on what we did today, I want you to send your questions to the various platforms. We'll answer them for you. And until next time, I am Nakita Barnett Hamilton. Up next is CSEC Spanish. So stay with us and remember to recap, because when we come back, I'm going to be asking you questions about this lesson. All right? Do have a good day.
It's here. Interactive classes for all ages on the School Time channel on onespotmedia.com. With a combination of live Zoom classes and recorded class time, Schools Not Out lessons, and numerous educational content, we've created a comprehensive 24-hour channel dedicated exclusively to educating our nation's youth. Early childhood through to primary, secondary and tertiary, it's one stop on one spot for education 24 hours. Brought to you by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information in association with Television Jamaica Limited.